Hi all, this is Cody Blair, realtor here in the Brazos Valley. And I'm coming at you from my beautiful home office, which is a travel trailer beside the house. And I'm repurposing, and thank goodness it's staying cool in this horrible, horrible heat we're having right now. I just wanted to let you know about a recent post I put up on black mold and how important that is. I did not realize how dangerous and important it is to know about black mold, and you would think that was something that, you know, somebody who's been a realtor around here for 6 or 7 years would know about. Of course, I'd heard about it and everything, but I was always under the impression, like most people, that in order to, like, if you've got a black mold problem, you're going to be coughing and sneezing and wheezing, and you'll feel it in here, okay? But I had a client recently who she and some of her daughters are extremely sensitive to black mold. I mean, had to be hospitalized over it at one point. So she is extra double concerned with it, and we are looking at houses that are in the $600,000 to $700,000 range. We found one that was just beautiful, well maintained, very clean, just nice. And she went ahead and ordered this black mold test that she did herself. It was like $420 to get it sent off to a lab and determine exactly what kinds of mold were involved. It came back highly positive for the really bad kinds of mold. And I thought to myself, if this house has black mold in it, any house can have black mold in it. So I did a little more research myself online. I went to PubMed, looked at some research articles done by MDs, and I found one where one of the experts noted that by his estimate, 50% of the buildings in the United States have some sort of black mold problem. And if it's ever had a leak, a chronic leak of any type under the sink, the AC dripping inside, a bathtub, you know, in this part of the world, if you don't have the fan on in the bathroom while you're taking a shower, it can be very damp in there. And it doesn't dry out for days. Any of that kind of stuff can cause black mold. So another article that I found on PubMed listed out 18 different symptoms associated with black mold, and of those 18, only 4 of them were respiratory. The vast majority of them were not respiratory at all, and it was things like extreme tiredness, dizziness, inability to perceive colors correctly, some strange things like those. Those were actually more common than the respiratory symptoms. So I, just as an experiment, I didn't even tell my wife what I was reading about, but I just said, go ahead and read through, let me read you this list of symptoms and you tell me how many of these you've had in the last year. She had had every one of the 18 in the last year. And we started really looking into it and realized we have a black mold problem in our house. So we actually moved out of our house recently, and in an attempt to get away from that. It's going to be so expensive and difficult to remediate that. So this is one of those things where you're just tempted to bury your head in the sand and say, la la, you know, la 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 la, I'm not going to listen, I'm not going to worry about this, I'm not going to think about it, because then I'll have to do something about it. But you're already doing something about it. My wife has been doing something about it for a year, and it involved, you know, trying to figure out what in the heck's going on with her, and going to bed early and feeling like crap all day, and taking, you know, all sorts of supplements and stuff to try to make all of these symptoms go away. Lo and behold, we leave the house, and within 15 minutes or so, well, that's more like 45 minutes after she leaves the house, those symptoms just go away. And then she comes back into that house, and 15 minutes later, there they all are again. Okay? So if you, and the thing is, black mold is very based on genetics, right? Some people are highly sensitive to it, some people not at all. And one guy gave an example of, you know, you can have 5 people living in a house, 4 of them are right as rain, never have any problems at all, and the 5th one is literally dying from the black mold. Okay, so if anybody in your family is having these chronic problems, especially if they get worse towards this time of year when all the doors and windows are shut and the ACs are running all the time, you know, anytime that the moisture is going to build up in the house and the black mold will start blooming, or it's super humid outside, that kind of thing, and those kinds of weird symptoms just kick off, it might be worth getting a test. So I put together a blog post on most of what I found out with links to some of those articles. You can find that on my website. I'll put a link to it in other places as well, but if you don't see it, just shoot me a text or a message or whatever, and I will reply with that link so you can go see it yourself directly. And I so hope that you do not have a black mold problem in your house. That would be wonderful. And you could rest assured that, you know, if you get the test, if you get all that done, at least you've eliminated that stuff. Actually, one of the things that we found helped tremendously was just a couple of really good air purifiers. HEPA-rated air purifiers did a tremendous amount of good for us without even getting mold remediation yet. So that's all I have to say about that. Please do not take a chance with your health or your family's health. Go check this out. This is Cody Blair, realtor in the Brazos Valley. Let me know if you have any questions.